I'm Dana. I used to weigh 350 pounds and now I weigh somewhere around 170, 180-ish probably. I mean, it's just been Christmas, let's push that up a little bit. But yeah, I lost a whole bunch of weight. I don't talk about it all that much because I had a bunch of lifestyle changes and it just sort of happened naturally. But I hadn't chosen any of those lifestyle changes based on weight loss. I just changed my life a little bit and then it happened. And it was fucking bizarre because I'd grown up fat and had various eating disorders and had always wanted to lose weight, constantly had it on my mind, was always thinking about food, thinking about calories. It was a whole entire thing for me. And it was right when I'd given up and been like, fuck it, I just don't care anymore. I'm just going to exist as a fucking fat person and live with it and be myself and have fun. Like, I can't be bothered. All of a sudden it just really easily started falling off and I was like, oh, okay then, we're doing this now. So like so much went into it, and that's why I've not done like a how I lost weight video, because like it was like 73,000 fucking things, like so much. It was very fucking complex and it was a massive change to my brain and my body, and it was a whole entire thing. And one element that I've just not seen other people talk about as such is like how that is as an autistic person, because I was gonna say how that is sensory wise, but there's so much more to it than just sensory stuff. And yeah, my thing tends to be, if I notice someone I haven't been talking about, or I think about something that I genuinely want to see people talk about, I start talking about it. So the first thing that really fucking bothered me when I was losing weight was my clothes not fitting. And like obviously my body was getting smaller, so my clothes like fitted differently or didn't fit at all, but it drove me up the fucking wall. I absolutely hated it, you know? Like, I'd go to my mum's, I'd go to work, and I'd get these little compliments from people being like, oh, that's looking baggy on you, isn't it? Oh, that's getting a bit big. Oh, I like the way you've belted that and things like that. And I hated it because I'd gone out of my way to buy fucking clothes that I liked, and I liked the way they fitted my body, and I liked the way they looked on me. And all of a sudden, every single day, I went to put on these things that I knew were comfortable and that I knew fitted me right and that felt right on my body, and they fucking didn't anymore. Like, even just thinking back on it now genuinely has like made my heart beat a little faster, because it just fucking enraged me. Like every single morning for like 6 months or more, I was starting out just being really fucking angry because I've washed my dungarees, my favourite dungarees, and I'd put them on and they'd just be like moving in all the wrong ways and they wouldn't sit on my body the way they were supposed to, and nothing felt right, you know? And after I lost more weight, obviously I was like, I'm gonna have to buy clothes in a different size. I'm a different size than I was. I'm gonna have to deal with that. But even then, I would go into like, I've always bought like the vast majority of my clothes from charity shops, both out of like a moral and ethical standing, and like I'm poor. So I'd go into charity shops and I'd try stuff on, and just, even though it technically fitted, and I still get this like reasonably often, like from the way that like my body is now composed and like the loose skin that I have and all that kind of stuff, just nothing feels like it fucking fits properly. If my trousers don't feel like they're gonna fall down, it feels like they're digging in. If they don't feel like they're digging in, it feels like they're gonna fall down. Like, just nothing feels like it sits on my body the way that it is supposed to sit on a human fucking body. And like, it didn't feel like it did a lot of the time when I was plus size as well. That's why I'd specifically put the effort into finding clothes that did fit me well and that felt comfortable, because so many plus size clothes are just, we've made the exact same thing as the straight size but made it wider, and it's like, okay, but like it doesn't fucking fit. But especially as an autistic person who has always struggled with finding clothes that like feel right and are the right fabrics and have the right kind of label and just are right for me, it added a whole extra layer of just struggle and fucking strife that still to this day quite often bothers me. I don't want to go into like super detail about the loose skin because quite frankly I'm a bit embarrassed about it. It's not that great. But that's also a whole nother sensory thing, because I have seen other autistic people talk about like the sensory overwhelm of being plus size and being able to like constantly feel parts of your body touching each other and that kind of thing. And it's the level of like, okay, but I still have that. Like, I still have that exact thing. It's just like empty now. It feels different but the same, but not. It's like, when I was plus size, I was someone who dressed quite modestly because I was quite embarrassed and ashamed of my body and I didn't want people to see it and say anything about it. And I still dress that way now, not because like, I mean, it's to a point because I'm embarrassed about the loose skin, but to a much larger point because the loose skin isn't fucking comfortable. I don't like the way it feels. I don't physically like the way my body feels when I'm not like covering it with clothing, you know? And for the longest time, I did associate it with like, I'm just uncomfortable with my body. I'm just, you know, that's my body issues. And to a point, it definitely is, and it's something I can work on and get better about. But there is a level to which it is just the sensory discomfort of my body constantly touching my own body is unpleasant, you know? Another one that fucked me up was not being able to eat my safe foods in the same way. So one of my big lifestyle changes that I've made was going vegan. So like, and this was in 2018, 2017. So like, I didn't have vegan chocolate. Nowhere was doing vegan pizzas. Vegan burgers weren't really a thing anywhere yet. Like, I couldn't go to any chains, I couldn't go to fast food places, I couldn't really get most snacks from the shop. Like, a lot of my safe foods were cut out with that. But then I had the thing of like, after a couple of years, I could order a pizza from Papa John's, I could order a McPlant from McDonald's, you know, like all the places that I'd previously had safe foods from and things that I would comfort eat with, all of a sudden started doing the vegan versions, and I would buy them and I would be so fucking excited. And then I'd be like, it's not the same now. It's not the same. And to be fair, that was a big struggle when I was first going vegan as well, because like I drink multiple cups of tea a day, and switching from normal cow's milk to soy milk, like I tried so many different types of milk, and so much of it was stuff that I just had to get used to, which it was hard. Like, it was really fucking tough. And I'm so used to soy milk now that I don't like it if it's like oat instead or almond instead or whatever. But like, it was a very difficult transition period for sure. So I'd already switched a lot of my safe foods to just being new things, you know, because new things that were vegan. And so much of the driving force for veganism for me was my physical health, and also like the planet and the animals and all that kind of thing. You know, like I'd watched so many fucking documentaries about it. I'd been watching Freely the Banana Girl for years. I'd had multiple attempts to go vegan and just not had it stick. And then Kevin Smith had his heart attack and I was like, fuck, shit, okay, we're going vegan now. So like, it just suddenly became really easy in that regard to go vegan. But then when fast food chains started bringing it all back, and it didn't quite taste the same, and I also just couldn't eat the same amounts anymore, you know? I'm not sure what consists of binge eating, to be honest with you, as to if I did it or still currently do it or whatever else. But you know, like, if I'm treating myself to a pizza, I'm eating like half the pizza and I'm eating the other half for my breakfast, and I'm gonna feel really full. And that's weird for me, because when I was bigger, that pizza was my dinner, you know? So when I could order my Papa John's pizza again, and I sat down to eat it, and I could only eat half my fucking pizza, I felt genuinely distressed and dysregulated, and it was hard, you know? And it was like, as a bitch that's had a whole variety of eating issues, there was a level of like pride and positive feelings, because like, oh my god, I'm such a skinny babe, I just can't eat like I used to. But the vast majority of it was just the autism kicking off and be like, this isn't right, our routine is to eat that fucking pizza, why are we not eating the pizza? And it's like, because I will actually be physically sick, and that's just gonna make things way fucking worse, babes. But like, it threw me, you know? Like, fucking Wok and Go as well have like the biggest portions, and I used to be able to eat like the whole massive one, and going down and ordering like the small one and being like, I'm stuffed, I'm so fucking full. And like, obviously neurotypicals and like diet culture people and whatever else would consider that an absolute win, like, oh, you don't need to eat as much to get just as full. But like, it felt wrong, it dysregulated me, you know? Like, those were things that I did as like that's the thing, is like, a lot of my like comfort eating and what may or may not be binge eating very much relates to like the sensory vibes of it, and it's a bit of a stim, and not being able to like complete the stim and not being able to complete the sensory vibe of it really kind of fucked with me. And I don't like it's weird. I'm aware that like I am realistically probably healthier for it, but as someone who wasn't really trying to do any of that shit, it fucking upset me. And one that was rough in a similar sort of way, and the only reason it isn't is because I've learned to like accommodate to it, is the way my bones feel. My bones interact with my surroundings now. Like, I have my staircase is a certain fucking way, so multiple times a day I hit my hip bone on the fucking banister bit. Oh my god, it fucking hurts. Okay, like, I'm a clumsy ass bitch. I walk into things a lot. I like constantly check things with like my shoulders and my hips, and like I'm really good at not doing it in public, But in my house, I'm constantly hitting into things. And like, I've always been someone that has a lot of bruises. That's just me. When I was bigger, it didn't fucking hurt, you know? Like, I would just bump into things and I'd look down later on and be like, oh, I'm all bruised up. I don't know how that's happened. Okay. I fucking know how it's happened a lot of the time now because it hurts. It like jolts the entire fucking bone. And especially when it's like my hip bones or my elbows or my shoulder, like my shoulder blades. When I have my floor time and I lay down on a hard surface, if I don't lay down slow enough, my shoulder blades like whack the fucking floor and it hurts and it like jolts my entire body. And like, when I was doing dance classes as like an 11-year-old, there was a point where we all had to just hit the floor, like we had to just all fall, and the teacher was like, just fall. And I did. And like, it wasn't nice, it wasn't not painful, but it didn't hurt the way that me just laying down from a seated position does sometimes, you know? Like, it's so fucking weird to me, the amount of things just hurt now, because previously it was just like hitting against fat. And now that fat's not there, it's hitting my fucking bone and it hurts. And similarly, I've had to like adjust the positions that I sit in because sometimes just like my arse bones just start digging. They'll dig into my feet, they'll dig into my ankles will dig into my, like, I know that my bones were always there, but there was just so much like padding and softness around them. I didn't have to think about them or feel them, you know? And like, given how pretty privilege is and the fact that you're just treated better as a fucking person when you're not fat, I don't wish I was still. I wish the world was nicer to fat people and all of that. But oh my God, I wish that I couldn't feel my bones in the way that I can still. I wish that I wish that navigating my body felt the same as it used to in my house, you know? Because like navigating as a larger person out in public is horrible. People look at you as though you like don't deserve the space that your body just happens to physically fucking take up. But just in my house, having things not constantly fucking hurt, it was lovely. And that sort of ties in because I do think that some level of that was also that like I was so embarrassed and ashamed and I'd been made to feel that way by so many fucking people of being a fat person that I dissociated my body, you know? Like I was so unaware of my fucking body. I didn't think about it, I didn't want to think about it, I didn't want to feel it, I didn't want to feel the way that I ignored it completely. So it's one of those things where I quite often think that my spatial awareness has increased, but I also think that I was like actively blocking it out. Like I actively didn't want to be aware of the space that I took up while I was bigger, you know? And it definitely backfired on me a whole bunch of times. You know? Like I remember so many times that people would invite me to like sit with them on benches or couches and stuff, and I'd be like, oh no, I can't. Because I was convinced that like the 4 foot of space they'd made for me wasn't going to fit my fat ass. And like it would have. I could have just fucking sat down. It would have been fine. And also I deserve to take up however much space I fucking take up. But you know, like it just, I couldn't. And similarly, I'd see like bollards and gates and doorways sometimes and just be convinced that I would not be able to fit through them. Like absolutely 100% certain. And looking back, quite often, it would have been absolutely fucking fine, you know? Like I was fat, but I wasn't like wildly fat. Like I can't just walk around in the world and get through a fucking doorway fat. Like it would have been fine, but I was certain. I was completely certain, and it was humiliating and embarrassing and panicked me and made me not want to exist in the world, you know? And I genuinely surprise myself sometimes now when I'm like, oh, I can just slip through this space. And it's not in the way of like, I can fit through this space. It's in the way of like, I looked at this space and knew that I would fit. Like I had the spatial awareness to know that that was large enough for me to not get stuck, but also like small, like I knew it was going to be like a tight squeeze, you know? Like I'm aware of more or less the amount of space that my body takes up. And I was never, ever aware of that before. And anytime that I was so like extravagantly over aware and over exaggerating my own size, you know? Like it's one of those, but at my biggest I was a size 24. So I definitely wasn't like skinny, you know? Like I definitely wasn't like the tiniest little bird girl in the world. But also like it just like, but like I've known people that are definitely a larger size than that. And like the spaces that I was looking at and being convinced I was gonna like get stuck and be way too big for, they would have also comfortably fitted through. You know, like I truly was acting as though I was like 4 times fucking wider than I was tall, and I'm 5'11". Like I was well and truly acting as though I would take up like an entire fucking street. It was ridiculous. But at the same time, that is how people made me feel, you know? Like so often people made me feel as though I took up so much more space than I ever was allowed to or ever should, and like I was just the fattest, grossest person on the planet Earth. And I was just a fat girl and it was fine, and people should have been fucking nice to me. Like I have often stayed away from this type of content because I fear controversy around it, honestly, because I'm really not someone who like pushes weight loss or is like, yeah guys, lose weight. Like I really don't care, you know? Like I didn't care about it that much when it came to my own body eventually. You know, like once I didn't overly unhealthily care, I just didn't care. And I definitely don't care what anyone else wants to do with their fucking body. You do you. If you feel good, you feel good. Like, it's not up to me. I don't give a shit. But it is just one of those things that I think I have like a bit of an interesting perspective on. And it's a perspective that I've not seen other people share. I'm sure probably someone has out there. Like there's a lot of fucking TikToks being made, okay? Like I'm not saying I absolutely am the first to ever approach this topic, but I haven't seen anyone else do it, so I wanted to. So if you've had any experiences similar to this, I'd love to hear what you have to think. As always, I just like hearing what you have to say about it, and I like that we have a little community going on here. So if you've got any thoughts at all, I'd love if you commented them. I would also love if you wanted to subscribe or like this video to help me out in the algorithm. You don't have to, it's up to you. You can also follow me over on Instagram, TikTok or Blue Sky if you would like to see more content from me. And if you want to like really fucking support my content, you can do me a financial favour and go over to my Patreon or Ko-fi and join me there. Patreon has a point now, because if you're a Patreon, you get early videos, and I'm actually pre-filming and like they're going to be scheduled. You're actually going to get early videos and you get access to the Discord. So that's actually quite a fun place to be now. Sorry, I had an HDI. I'm so ready to stop filming. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I'll see you again in a couple of days.